what advice what would you say to your younger self? What would you say to her face of where you are today and what you were worried about then?
Oh my gosh. Well, the first thing I would say to her is it all works out. So rest easy. Don't waste your time worrying. I know when you're young and I'm a planner. I have been making vision boards for a really long time, and I'm still a proponent of it. I am manifestation, all those things. But I've also spent a lot of time worrying because my irrational fear is probably that I won't be able to take care of myself. And so because of that, I was always having a plan and then a backup plan for the plan. And if this doesn't work out, then is this going to work out? I was always that person. And I think I would tell myself, breathe, it is going to work out.
Why was your irrational fear that you had to take care of yourself, that you were the only one you had?
Well, some of that came from what I saw growing up. For me, I grew up seeing some elements of traditional family in that, my dad was the provider. And now it was a transient, I call this, I don't even know if this is a thing, transient socioeconomic status. So, my dad, he decided to go to med school when he was 30. So I saw the American dream created up close. So we didn't have, but I saw him work to become a doctor and to create this life for my family. So I used to joke that he had this car that no one could steal because you would crank it up with a butter knife. So you get in and you wouldn't even know what to do. And then you fast forward to, now he is chief of medicine at his hospital, very comfortable life. We go home and laugh around the pool and do all these things. But I saw the hard work firsthand. But then conversely, I saw my mom, she didn't work, but she was there taking care of us. But at times when they separated, she had a hard time providing for us. She was very dependent on him. And then ultimately they got divorced and they separated and she remarried. And then she was in another situation where she was fully dependent. And there were, even in situations where she wanted to leave and she couldn't, she was fully dependent. And I was like, I'm never going to be in that situation where I'm going to be fully dependent. I want to be able to do what I want to do. And if I want to walk away, I want to be able to walk away. And I just always had that in the back of my mind that I need to be in that control. I just wanted to be able to have that control over my life. I just didn't want somebody to be able to control me in that way. And so I think that's the root of it. And that's why I said I need a plan A, B, and C, because I want to be in that control.
But then all of a sudden you took this and had this audacious moment and said, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to go and live in New York, a city I've never lived in before. For someone who has to have a plan A, B, and C, what did that experience feel like, saying I'm about to go do this unknown thing?
It was interesting. Now, here's what I have to tell you about me. Because of what I told you about my personality, it's like no matter, I'm a fashion girl, no matter what all the fashion tells you, you have to know I have a stack of cash somewhere. So when I was bold enough to make that step, I had prepared financially for, I don't know how long it's going to take for me to figure something out, but I'm prepared to take care of myself. So I was very thoughtful in that regard. The other thing is I'm an accountant by trade. And I'm also, because of the work ethic I saw with my dad, I don't think anything's beneath me. So if I need to go work at Walmart, or if I needed to go and have 4 or 5 jobs to take care of myself, I'm willing to do that. So I was like, if I'm going to go to New York and make ends meet, I'm going to New York and I know I'm going to do that. And so I moved with that level of conviction. I was like, I'm just going to step out and do it. And my parents, they said, is this your quarter life crisis? I was 30 at the time, so apparently I'll live to be 120. But I put in some job applications online. And what was also cool about this, and I didn't come up with this, I was at lunch with a woman the other day, and she called this moment to pause.
Yes.
I took the moment to pause. So for the first month or two, I was kind of hanging out. And my parents were like, you are going to get a job, right? And so I was like, I'm planning to get a job. But I did take some time to spend time with friends and family. I put those applications online, and I was making my way to New York. I spent some time with friends in DC. I was hanging out in New Jersey, waiting on people to call me back, knowing I was going to move to New York. And I will tell you this, I'm also a woman of faith. Viacom called me back cold from an application online. I'm going through the motions, and I'm on my third, planning to go meet them in New York for my third interview, and EY calls me. And then this was just a partner I kept in touch with, and long story short, they ended up basically hiring me back to the firm in New York over the phone.
Yeah. That was where you were supposed to be in that very moment. You were supposed to take your hands off the wheel. You were supposed to take your pause so that you could have the opportunity for the next.
That's it.
I think that part of the setup gets you to the leap, then gets you to the shift, right? What do you feel like is out of that story is the lesson that you feel like this lesson is now embedded inside of me that I know?
I feel like there's so many things. I still go back to my faith, because even when I mention when I left EY the first time and I was in my 20s, and I talk about making the decision that I made that at the time was best for my family, but I wasn't thinking about my whole self. Sometimes we get in the way of our own journey, but we still don't get in the way of our own journey. Like, I think about coming full circle to where I am personally and professionally. And here I am sitting talking to you, partner at EY. I didn't pick this for myself. This is a calling, because I thought I was going to be a doctor. And then after doctor, I thought I was going to be a writer. I still want to be a writer one day. Then I thought I would have a talk show. Ernst & Young could have been a chemical plant. But when I look at my journey and I look at what this platform has afforded me in terms of the impact that I've had on people, would I have ever picked this, accounting, the things I'm doing in the community? I never would have picked it. That's how I know it's a calling, because it's not for me. Yeah. And so when I reflect on all those things, I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing, because I didn't pick it. Yeah. And so I think that's the thing that I take away, that I wasn't able to get in my own way. And if we had an hour and I could tell you all the ways that I've tried to disrupt myself, there are many. And still, I found myself here. And that's why I have to have faith, because I know it wasn't me, because there's just no way.
I think to the person who might be listening, who really might just be struggling, what is my audacious moment? When is my audacious moment going to happen, right? I think there was a grounding in what you said. If we just stay present in today, and if we just know that our pathway will be ours, and that actually no one can take us off of what's for us. And our community especially has to know that part. What is for you will never pass you. And no one can take food off of your table when it's for you. That's what I'm sitting in of your story. And greatness awaits for all of us.
What is for you is absolutely for you. I think, listen. I think there's discernment. And then I think a synonym to audacious, I think, is being courageous. And I would have never thought of myself as a courageous woman until someone said that to me. And I remember when I had someone say that to me, it almost was a shock to the system. So someone said, you're a courageous woman. I never thought of myself in that way. but it is taking the step. So it's hearing it, it's discerning that this is my moment, and then it's being willing to then walk into that moment. And it can be daunting. It really can be. But the other side of that is really beautiful.
Yeah.
It really is. And I think for me personally, I am grateful because I know that life is fragile and it's fleeting, but it is also is beautiful. And I am on the heels of my Jackie Robinson year, and when I think about that, I'm just like, wow, another year is coming, and I'm just grateful for another opportunity. And I don't know what I'm going to step into next, but I'm just thankful for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing.
Of course. Thank you for having me.